In this episode, I will explore one of the most iconic and versatile tools of the Viking Age, the axe. From humble beginnings as a woodcutter's implement to its evolution into a weapon of war and a symbol of status, the axe shaped the world of the Scandinavian people in the late Iron Age. More than just a blade, the axe was at the heart of Viking life. Every journey, every battle, and every settlement began with one. We uncover how the axe became the true symbol of the Viking Age, an edge that carved history itself. We will start by looking at the archaeological evidence, taking closer looks at different reconstructed axes, and talk about everything from handles to sheath and blade protectors, and of course see them in action. This isn't going to be a full archaeological study, but rather a celebration of a tool, a tribute to craftsmanship, versatility, and the enduring legacy of the Viking axe. My name is Rasmus from Ramoni Viking Crafts and Reenactment. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this video. This is the third installation of the series tools of the Viking Age. The first episode was about the saw, the second one about the drills, and now the third one here about the axes. So grab yourself a drink or a snack, sit back, relax, and let's get started. Imagine for a moment that you are transported back into the heart of a Viking town. You walk around the bordered roads and pathways of a Viking trading town. There's houses and halls, farms, and a harbour with trading ships coming in to strengthen foreign connections through trade, and maybe even a church nearby. There's barrels filled with goods, wooden chests full of riches. And the blacksmith is drawing his bellows as a wooden wagon is rolling by, pulled by a pair of oxen. The air is saturated with signs here at the dawning of the day. And in the distance you can hear the workers cutting down trees at the edge of the woods, and the carpenters working their axes. This is where it all starts. Wood is essential in the Viking world, and anything made by wood starts at the exact same place, and so it has for ages before, and it will for ages after, with a good, sharp axe. The axe is one of humanity's oldest tools. Stone axes has been found dating back nearly 50,000 years, marking the beginning of our mastery over materials. Over time, bronze axes replaced stone until iron finally took over as the metal of choice. During the Viking Age, however, iron production was still a very challenging process. The supply and quality of iron often struggled to meet the high demand, not just for weapons, but for everyday tools that sustained life. The Vikings were skilled craftsmen and women with exacting standards valuing both material quality and functional design. Although the Viking Age saw the rise of many specialized axe types, the general purpose axe remained remarkably versatile. It could be used for everything from carving spoons and shaping bows to building long ships and great halls. At its core, the axe is a simple ergonomic extension of the arm, directing force with precision into wood or other material. Compared to a sword, an axe head requires a lot less metal and could be forged from lower quality iron yet it remained remarkably effective. The axe was essential, and it was found in astonishing numbers throughout the Viking world. In a pinch, it could do the work of a saw or a knife. And as we will see later, while it was primarily a woodworking tool, it could also become a vital survival instrument, or even a weapon. Understanding Viking axe typology begins with the work of Jan Petersen, whose typology from the early 20th century remains the foundation for classifying Norse weapons and tools. Petersen organized axes into distinct types based on their shape, size, construction features such as blade, form, edge, curvature, and the shape of the eye and the beard. These categories help archaeologists and historians trace how axe designs evolved through the Viking Age, from the practical bearded working axes of the 9th century to the large and elegant Dane axes of the later period. Petersen's typology gives us a framework to understand not just how axes looked, but how they were used as tools, as weapons, as symbols of status throughout the Norse world. And if you want to go into even further details on the construction, on the features and functions of the different axes, I highly recommend this book. I have mentioned it before, but it is one of the most extensive overviews of tools, analysing tool marks to guess what axe or what tool was used to create a certain part of a Viking longship. Every part, every corner and every curve of the axe has its own name and is used to describe the difference and function. And I keep coming back to this book for reference and for inspiration. Viking blacksmiths forged axes by heating iron or steel in a forge, shaping it with hammers on an anvil, and often forge welding a high carbon steel into the iron's cutting edge for hardness. Most Viking axes were bearded axes, featuring distinct points where the axe head flares outward, near the ends where the handle enters the eye. This characteristic design not only strengthened the connection between the head and the handle, but also gave the bearded axe a balanced and aesthetically striking appearance. The profiles of these regular axes varied. Some had curved cutting edges, while others were straight. The greatest difference lay in the shape and the size of the beard, the portion of the axe head that extends below or in front of the handle. Some axes found from the Viking Age appear to have been specialized axes made for hewing and for shaping wood. These so-called broad axes often featured T-shaped profiles or extended beards that reached far beneath the head, often shaped and sharpened with a single bevel, allowing the Viking carpenter to smooth wooden surfaces without biting in too deeply. Although most tasks could be accomplished by a regular axe, a broad axe allowed the work to be done more cleanly and efficiently. The Adze here might be one of the most unusual members of the Viking axe family. Unlike the traditional axe, the cutting edge is orientated perpendicular to the handle, making it exceptionally well suited for smoothing wooden surfaces, such as planks or beams. Although not very common in archaeological finds, the adze's specialized function made it invaluable in woodworking. Its design allowed it to be used on woods lying directly on the ground, and thereby eliminating the need for benches or clamps. This practically made it a highly efficient tool for Viking carpenters and shipwrights. Weapon axes form another fascinating category. Their identification relies heavily on form and on archaeological context. The best known type is the Dane Axe that emerged towards the end of the Viking Age. This formidable weapon featured very large and very thin blades mounted onto shafts up to 150 centimeters or even longer. Designed clearly to be wielded two-handedly by elite warriors. I'm just going to take a very short moment here and thank you for watching this video. If you're here for historical interest or reenactment or axes in general, you are most welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and be sure not to miss any updates here on the channel. As I mentioned before, this video here is the third installation of a series called Tools of the Viking Age. Earlier on, we discussed and researched about the use of saws in the Viking Age. In the second episode, we were discovering the world of drills and drill bits in the Viking Age. And now, as you're seeing here, we're diving into the world of axes. So be sure to stay updated on the whole series. Enjoy the rest of the video. People often ask, how can you tell a Viking woodworking axe from a weapon axe? The truth, I think, is that any tool axe could serve you in combat, and with some effort, any weapon axe could carve wood. Still, there are a few indications that might help, though it is rarely possible to say with absolute certainty. The key lies in form and function. Axes, like the single bevel T-shaped broadaxe, were clearly designed for hewing wood, with wide blades suited for smoothing and shaping. Some axes have thick, wedge-like profiles ideal for splitting logs, while others, such as the Adze, would make terrible weapons but excel at carving and hollowing. And on the other hand, some axes are thin-bladed, designed to bite deeply into flesh, not wood. And a few axes even have hollowed out centers to reduce weight and strike even faster in battle. Context, of course, also matters. When axes are found alongside other tools, as in the famous Mestamere chest, it's likely that they were woodworking tools. But when discovered in warrior graves and among weapons and armour, they probably did serve as weapons. In the end, it is not always easy to tell. But I know which axe I would choose to bring to the forest to carve planks for a ship, and which one I'd bring to the battlefield. We do have remains of different axe handles in various lengths and in different types of wood, but it is hard to tell much from the handles alone. Viking axe handles were usually made from ash or oak, although various other hardwoods were used as well, just in fewer cases. For the length, we do have examples of very short handles all the way up to well over 1 meter, but the majority of the found axe handle remains indicate an average of between 60 and 90 centimeters for a one-handed axe. The calculated length of the handles for the two-handed axes are between 122 centimeters up to 150 centimeters or even more. When working one-handed, there is a natural limit to the ideal axe handle length, yet some surviving examples clearly exceed that. Contemporary depictions, such as those on the Bayeux Tapestry, show both one- and two-handed axes being used in different contexts. Handle length likely depended on the purpose. A shorter handle offers greater control and precision when working in wood, while the longer one provides reach and power, essential in combat where you might need to recover quickly if your swing is deflected or misses its target. Personal preference might also have played a role. Even today, spoon carvers often favour short-handled axes for close work, while others prefer handles up to 50 centimeters for added leverage. Depictions on tapestries or runestones might offer some clues about handle length as well, but the proportions on these artworks are often symbolic rather than accurate, leaving us once again with educated guesses rather than certainties. Anyone who's been around a well-sharpened axe knows that respectful handling is vital, and the Vikings knew this as well. Both in order to protect their hands and fingers while handling, storing or transporting the axe, but also to protect the edge, not to put any nicks or dents into it. This is clear when we look at some of the many blade protectors found alongside the axes themselves. Made from bone, antler, wood or even metal, these blade protectors come from the simplest forms to very elaborate and carved pieces of art and serve as a reminder that safety was important, as sharpening or even reshaping was very laboursome. For sharpening their axes, the Vikings used whetstones found throughout Scandinavia and the rest of the Viking area, made from various types of stones. Small files has also been found, and the combination of file and whetstone is a very effective way to sharpen and hone the edge of the axe. I am not aware of any finds indicating the use of spinning circular whetstones like the ones we use today. But if you know something about this, let me know in the comments below. I would be very curious to hear about that. So it seems that one of the reasons why the axe became such a great symbol of the Viking Age is partly due to how widespread they were. Archaeological evidence shows a sheer number of axe finds across Scandinavia and throughout the whole Viking world, ranging from simple everyday tools to highly decorated ceremonial pieces. Some axes were richly ornamented with inlays and patterns, showing that they held not only practical value but also social and symbolic importance. Axe-shaped pendants or amulets and even carved out outlines of axes seem to point in this direction too. The Viking axe was also known far beyond Scandinavia. In the Byzantine Empire, Norse warriors in elite units such as the Varangian Guard wielded massive two-handed axes, making the weapon famous as part of a feared and respected special force. This association with powerful warriors further strengthened the legendary status of the axe. In daily life, the axe was essential because nearly everything in the Viking world was made from wood. Everyone grew up knowing how to handle and maintain an axe. And since the axe was a tool that could easily be used as a weapon, arming a fighting force simply sometimes meant to bring your own tools from home. This combination of practicality, familiarity, prestige, and cultural reach made the axe a natural and enduring symbol of Viking identity. So as we've seen, the Viking axe was far more than just a tool. It shaped the forest, homes, ships, and entire communities. And when needed, it became a weapon that carved its place into history. From simple woodworking axes to the elegant broadaxe and to the fearsome Dane Axe, each design tells a story of craftsmanship and innovation and the daily realities of life in the North. Its presence in graves, on artwork, in trading towns, and even in elite warrior units shows just how deeply the axe was woven into Viking identity. It was practical, familiar, and powerful, a symbol of both survival and status. The Viking Age may be long gone, but the legacy of the axe remains, reminding us of a world built by skilled hands and sharp edges. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Rasmus from Ramoni Viking Crafts and Reenactment. If you enjoyed this journey, feel free to leave a comment, ask questions to what we've been talking about here today, and I will get back to you and answer to the best of my ability. Don't forget to click that little like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel and be sure not to miss any of my future updates. Stay safe, and I will see you soon for another Viking adventure.